Why is living in New York City so expensive in 2025? This question echoes on crowded sidewalks and in quiet moments of financial worry. In the heart of one of the world's most dynamic urban lives, today, we explore the multifaceted factors driving these escalating expenses, a journey into the economic engine that powers this incredible metropolis. New York City stands as a beacon of opportunity, yet its promise comes with challenges. Since the past decade, housing costs have surged by over 68%, a dramatic increase that far outpaces other major U.S. cities. Residents wake each day to rising rents, relentless inflation, and evolving economic policies. One-bedroom apartments in Manhattan now exceed $4,000 per month, while the median household income hovers at $81,600. This imbalance leaves many dedicating more than the advised 30% of their income to housing. It is a stark picture of urban life, a puzzle where each economic piece must fit into an ever-changing landscape. The roots of this crisis are layered and complex. Limited housing supply is one prominent factor. Between 2010 and 2023, New York City's housing capacity increased only marginally by 4%, even as jobs surged by 22%. As vacancies reached a mere 1.41%, levels unseen since 1968, the competition for each available apartment intensified. Due to the high costs of renovations, over 50,000 apartments remain unrentable under rent stabilization rules. Despite an undeniable demand, housing developers have struggled through policy shifts and economic constraints. The lapse of the 421A tax abatement program in 2022, for instance, spurred a 76% decline in new housing permits by 2023, constricting the pipeline of fresh housing even further. Yet the housing shortage does not exist in isolation. It is shaped by a confluence of other economic forces. Inflation, currently running at 3.5% in the New York metropolitan area, adds another layer of pressure. Unlike the national average of 2.7%, inflated costs in the city ripple through every corner of daily life, from groceries to transit fares to utilities. This acceleration means that as incomes struggle to keep pace, even minor price increases can have a dramatic effect on household budgets. Global investments in real estate have also left their mark. International investors, drawn to New York City's prestige and economic strength, see its properties as safe, long-term assets. Their entrance into the market drives up property values and sets higher benchmarks, especially in the luxury real estate segment, where median Manhattan listings have reached $1.4 million. This global influx of capital reinforces a cycle where price markers escalate, influencing the broader market and inevitably impacting everyday residents. Economic policies, both past decisions and current strategies, have deepened the complexities of this financial landscape. Measures aiming to protect affordable housing sometimes create unintended hardships. For example, rent stabilization laws, while intended to offer security, have ironically contributed to a reduction in available units due to pricey renovation requirements. Policy shortcomings and administrative delays result in discourses that expose the tension between safeguarding residents and encouraging development. Each of these factors fuels a cascade of consequences. Rising rents and limited housing supply have deep impacts on people's lives. In February 2025, an unsettling number of close to 115,000 individuals found shelter in temporary accommodations. Their stories remind city dwellers that behind every statistic lies a human narrative of struggle, aspiration, and resilience. Meanwhile, expert analyses and hard data underpin these trends, offering a comprehensive view of an urban ecosystem under strain. Walking through the streets of New York, one sees the subtle signs of these challenges. Skyscrapers loom above historic brownstones. Digital billboards flash data on stock performances and property values. Every visual cue ties back to the intricate interplay of global investments, local economic policies, and the persistent demand for living space. Loving the video so far? give it a thumbs up and subscribe. It helps more than you know. Residents find themselves in an ongoing dialogue with the city, a conversation where the promise of prosperity is weighed against the pressures of a competitive and often unforgiving market. The economic blueprint of New York City has always been a blend of opportunity and hardship. But in 2025, this duality has taken on new dimensions, driven by the observable gap between income and living expenses. Consider an everyday New Yorker, juggling basic expenses with the high cost of rent, planning for the future amidst rising inflation. These experiences resonate widely, sparking debates on sustainable urban living and economic reform. By examining these issues, we gain insight into the mechanisms that enable these soaring costs and recognize how closely tied policy and market forces are to the fabric of society. A closer look at the data reveals a clear, persistent trend. Over the past decade, New York City's housing market has not only reflected economic pressures, but in many ways has exaggerated them. Limited new construction, compounded by disincentives created by outdated tax abatement initiatives, means that while demand soars, supply remains critically low. This imbalance creates a market where scarcity drives prices upward, an effect deepened by the rapid escalation in global capital inflows. In an interconnected world, a surge in overseas investments can influence local prices in dramatic ways, a truth that is now apparent to every policymaker and economist studying this phenomenon. As we peel back the layers, understanding unfolds like a well-plotted narrative. Economic policies once heralded for fostering growth now face scrutiny as they intersect with the raw realities of market demand. When new housing permits plummeted after the phase-out of the 421A program, it became evident that safeguarding development and attracting investment requires a delicate balance, one that is not easily maintained. The shortage of available units, combined with rising rent prices, contributes to a destabilized housing market that leaves vulnerable residents bearing the brunt of these economic shifts. The human consequences of these trends are most starkly seen in the personal accounts of New Yorkers. Conversations with residents reveal a tapestry of experiences: stress, determination, and even heartbreak. Some make difficult choices, giving up personal space to remain within the city, while others migrate to distant suburbs or weekly rent shared spaces. Each decision encapsulates the broader economic conflict, a daily negotiation between the dream of urban living and the harsh financial constraints that define the modern city experience. Turning attention to expert voices, analysts underscore the importance of both macroeconomic policy and local market behavior. They point out that New York City has historically been a financial epicenter, a magnet for talent and capital alike. However, the city now faces the challenge of harmonizing growth with sustainability. Urban policies must evolve to cope with inflationary pressures, a shrinking talent pool, and an unyielding demand for housing. These experts urge policymakers to consider innovative solutions that blend affordable housing initiatives with an enabling business environment. Despite the formidable challenges, there is room for cautious optimism. Reform advocates suggest that strategic policy changes, vigilant economic planning, and targeted investments in housing infrastructure can gradually restore balance. The dialogue is now shifting from reactive measures to proactive planning. With careful negotiation between different stakeholders, developers, policymakers, and residents, New York City may yet find ways to mitigate these pressures while preserving its unique vibrancy. In this moment of economic tension, every statistic tells a story. Rent rises, occupancy rates, and the ripple effects of global investments are not just numbers on a screen. They are indices of aspiration, struggle, and hope. Urban life in New York City reflects the modern narrative of us all, confronting challenges head-on while seeking viable pathways towards a more inclusive and sustainable future. Even amid crises, the city's spirit endures, driving creativity, resilience, and unyielding ambition. Ultimately, the soaring living costs in New York City are a testament to the powerful confluence of market dynamics, economic policies, and global influences. It teaches us that urban living demands not only vigilance and adaptation, but also a deep, systemic understanding of how intertwined economic systems function under pressure. As we reflect on this journey through New York City's financial landscape, one thing remains clear: understanding the complexities behind rising living costs is crucial. By examining the interplay of inflation, housing shortages, economic policies, and global investments, we acknowledge both the challenges and potential solutions embedded within urban life. The city, with all its splendor and strain, invites us to engage, thoughtfully and proactively, with the forces that shape our daily existence. Join us as we continue to explore these critical issues and work towards solutions that balance growth with a fair quality of life. Understanding the complexities behind New York City's rising living costs is crucial. Stay informed and engaged to navigate the challenges and opportunities of urban living. Want more videos like this? Watch the next one here, and don't forget to subscribe for weekly uploads. With rents climbing beyond reach for some and investment dollars fueling unprecedented market shifts, the city's economic narrative offers important lessons.